Hello and welcome to the very first Crystal Coast Officiants and Wedding Planner Show. My name is Amanda Crystal Coast and I'm the CEO, lead officiant, and I am a lead planner at Crystal Coast Officiants and Wedding Planners. I just want to talk to you guys today a little bit about wedding scripts. So before I was Miss CEO and Miss Wedding Planner, I was just your measly officiant. Kind of funny story how my officiant journey started. It was roughly 10 years ago. My Aunt Chris, who lives in Pennsylvania, asked me to get ordained and to do her wedding to my Uncle Bubs, who I love so much. Peace out to Aunt Chris and Uncle Bubs. And it was at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. My family, I don't know what they do in Pennsylvania, but they promote the hell out of some Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because that's exactly where they all go. It is like little Pennsylvania when you go there in the summertime, I tell you that. So my family just historically has always gone to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So anyhow, I officiate the wedding. I'm going to tell you some of the quirks that I did on my first wedding that I will never make those mistakes again. Trust me. But after the wedding, I guess I did a fairly good job because the photographer said, "Can I get her card so I can give it to other people?" Like, card, like, what in the world? So after that, I started doing weddings just here and there. I had a little Facebook page when I lived in the Sandhills of North Carolina. When I moved to the ENC, I thought, I'm going to get serious about my wedding planning, or wedding officiating. Wedding planning didn't come till later. And I'm going to make a website. And from there, that's just how Crystal Coast Officiants and Wedding Planners was born. I'll tell you more about how I got into planning a little bit later. But it just really started from wanting to do just a little bit more. And then, you know, somebody giving me a compliment. And isn't that the truth? Is like sometimes you just need some outside validation to kind of just give you that push to be like, hey, maybe I should do this, or maybe I can do this. Today I'm going to talk to you about wedding scripts. So whenever a client books Crystal Coast Officiants and Wedding Planners for officiating services, the first thing we do, we give them a contract. The contracts are always a must. If your vendors aren't giving you contracts, you should be worried. The second thing is we give them a questionnaire. And the questionnaire asks things like, is someone giving you away? Is there a moment of remembrance? Is there a special ceremony like stand ceremony, fasting ceremony? And there's so many different ceremonies right now that are just so popular. Unity paintings, unity shots, like we've done it, you name it. It asks, are there any sentimental passages or Bible verses? Do you want your wedding religious or just sentimental? Will you be exchanging rings? Will you be taking his last name? All of these things are important in knowing a script. Now, I never, ever, 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 for any reason, have a script longer than 15 to 20 minutes. And I have kind of a little technique, a little back and forth that I like to do with my script. So it's not just me talking predominantly the whole time. It's kind of this back and forth dance between myself and then some type of call to action for the couple or addressing something different. It's not just me just blubbering and talking like this video. So bear with me. After I get the script, I write up a draft and I send it to them, and then they either love it or we go back to the drawing board. They tell me what they don't like and we do it until we get it right. So I'm going to look at one that I just did for Catherine and Ryan. Hey guys, I love this one. It took us 4 or 5 drafts. Catherine and Ryan are actually like journalism majors, so this was a great challenge for me, someone who loves to write and has a writing background. At the beginning, you want to do a welcome. A welcome is just saying like, hey everybody, thanks for coming. On behalf of the bride and groom, we're so glad you're here. This is a momentous day, but you don't want to get too long. Why? Because especially if the bride has someone giving them away, you want to make sure that they're not standing up there awkwardly. Also, everyone has been standing because you asked them to rise for the bride. So after your short little hello, you want to ask who gives this woman away to be wed to this man. And it could be their kids giving them away. It could be their father. There's no real tradition anymore per se. Some people hold on to tradition, but some people let their mom walk them down. One of the things that I read in one of my wedding books about etiquette is that personalization has been the biggest trend in weddings and doesn't seem to be going everywhere, and I love that. So who gives this woman to wed to this man? Her mother and I do. And then this is a must, y'all. This is what I learned from my first wedding. Please, oh please, if you do anything else, put this in your script to tell the guests to be seated. I did not do that my very first wedding, and they stood the whole time. Now, granted, it was at a beach, so it didn't look too crazy, but they didn't sit on the towels that we had there for them. And I've never, ever, ever made that mistake again. Trust me. At this time, you want to address the bride and groom. You want to talk about some of the hurdles of marriage, some of the things that they're going through. But this is the part when you ask them about their love story. I'm not sure if I mentioned that before, but one of the questions we asked them is about their love story. That's my favorite part. Like, how they met. How in the world of all these billions of people did you manage to come together and find each other in love? This is that part where you can kind of flex on that story just a little bit, make it, you know, outgoing, engaging, fun, jovial, make some jokes. I try never to be too serious or too sentimental. I like to kind of keep it light, but also appropriate. Like, it is a monumental, sentimental time. Give it its due diligence. Don't be all over the place with your diction and your voice, your inflections up and down, up and down. You just want to make sure that you're steady in some parts because it is a sentimental time. This is a time where we did a moment of silence here, but you can ask the bride and groom if they want to acknowledge the people who they have lost and who aren't quite here, but they're here in spirit, or you can do an opening prayer. There's a couple of different things. You could do both if you want to. Again, you don't want to go past 15 to 20 minutes. Nobody is listening anymore, y'all. You might think they are, but they're not. The attention span of human beings is that of a gnat, trust me. After that, I did a reading here, and again, I want to do this back and forth. Like I don't want to stay consistently doing the same thing, so I kind of keep wanting to draw the audience in and then transition with them. So this one was called A Bridge Across Forever. And then I do the intent, and the intent is important. It's that they freely come here both on their own volition to marry each other. You gain that intent, and then you go to the vows. This couple in particular wanted to write their own vows, so I would allow one person to go first and the other person to go next. Now, what does tradition say? Who goes first? It doesn't matter. Ask them. There is nobody standing in the woods who's going to come out and blow a whistle and say that this was a wedding violation. Whoever wants to go first, just go first, please. It's okay. Trust me. I typically lead with the fella and let the bride go last. Save the best for last, right? Right, ladies? At this time, I do another reading. This one is just an example. It's nice and short. This couple picked this, and it says, "You came to" by Nikki Giovanni. "I came to the crowd seeking friends. I came to the crowd seeking love. I came to the crowd for understanding. I found you. I came to the crowd to weep. I came to the crowd to laugh. You dried my tears. You shared my happiness. I went from the crowd seeking you. I went from the crowd seeking me. I went from the crowd forever. You came too." That's beautiful. And it's just a little something that the bride and groom, they liked. That author was from their hometown in Tennessee. They just enjoy that. At this time, you call for the rings. And with the rings, you want to make sure that the bride gets the groom's ring and the groom gets the bride's ring, because they put it on each other. At this time, you would go ahead and you can either say something that ends in "I do," or they say "I do," or they can repeat after you. In this particular case, they repeated after me, "The fitting of this ring." They say "The fitting of this ring with its unending circle, and you get the rest. Next up, I did another reading. This one, again, nice, short, and sweet. What I like about this couple, they actually let their best man and maid of honor do this particular reading. They took turns doing it, and then it breaks up the monotony of me having to do everything. And finally, the pronouncement. "Brian and Catherine, because you two came here today intending to marry, you joined hands and made solemn vows and exchanged rings to remind you of those vows. You are joined as mutual partners in love and respect. So according to the powers vested in me," and I say this every single time because this is my trademark, "according to the powers vested in me by the highest power of the land and sea, I now pronounce you husband and wife." And if you are an officiant and you know your duty, get out of the way so you're not in their picture for the kiss. Then you come back behind them. She grabs her bouquet from her maid of honor. They face the crowd together,
and you say, ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time, I introduce to you Mr. and Mrs., and in this case, it was Willis. Short, sweet, to the point. Do your homework up front. Every couple is unique. Every love story is unique. Every script should be unique. And that's Amanda Crystal Close giving you the most. Later.